Hello friends, and welcome to my channel if you're new, or welcome back if you are back. If you are new, hi, my name's Rabbit and my pronouns are they, them, and either way, thank you so much for clicking on my video today. I wanted to start out with saying happy spooky season. I hope you're having a wonderful October. I hope that wherever you are, the leaves are falling and the air is crisp and everything is wonderful and magical and just stupendous. So for today's video, in case you didn't read the title, I wanted to make a kind of vintage inspired Halloween lookbook. Let me walk you through the idea of this. Basically, I love looking back through like the eras of different fashions, looking at all the beautiful photos and the wonderful makeups and the beautiful people and all their little like clothes, and looking at the details and the embroidery and the intricacies and like all the ways that styles have changed and shifted and like all these wonderful things. I find it so much fun, and I just have been really inspired lately, and I wanted to make kind of a video of like imagining different decades but with like a Halloween twist. So there's gonna be lots of like blacks and oranges, a little bit of like purples and reds, a little bit of like devil costumes and bat costumes and like stuff like that. And I do want to be clear that this isn't gonna be like proper, super exact, like this is exactly accurate to what a Victorian woman would have worn in the 18th century. Like, no, this is just like for fun, using the stuff that was already in my closet, taking inspiration from the decades. So I really beg you to not be in the comments being like, well, actually, this type of skirt should be more full and blah, blah, blah. Like, I know, I get it completely, yes. But this is like just for fun and just like, you know, to get into the Halloween spirit and dress up mood, if that makes sense. So yes, this is a lookbook inspired by the decades, not necessarily trying to be like an exact replication of any decades. I also want to say that like there's so much fluidity, and like periods of fashion are very made up and abstract, and I feel like we have to put things in categories so we can say like this was popular at this time, but obviously that's not how history actually works, and all these things are much more fluid. So if like certain things are like, that's more 60s than like, yes, I know, there's fluidity within these things. With all my disclaimers out of the way, I really hope you enjoy this lookbook. We're gonna go from the 1800s to the early 2000s. We're gonna have some decades that have multiple looks. So without further ado, let's get into it, and I hope you enjoy. Alright, so we are starting the lookbook in the late 1800s with a Victorian inspired outfit. Hopefully that's somewhat clear. I really was like struggling to put this with like the clothes I had in my closet and like lots of layers and like a little bit of DIY and this and that, but I feel like I'm quite happy with the overall final look, so let me go ahead and walk you through it. I've kind of temporarily put this veil over my face. It's this spiderweb veil, the big bat on the bottom, and I feel like it's not super Victorian unless we're talking about like Victorian and mourning. This is what it looks like without the veil. I made this little headpiece this afternoon out of cardboard and some old velvet and lace and satin and like some pillow stuffing, and it's very like kind of bonnet little Bo Peep moment. I also know that the bangs are completely not correct, like Victorians did not have bangs, but wigs like this look really weird, like it, so just bear with me. In terms of makeup, I went really subtle in terms of what I usually do. I feel like the Victorians were all about like the very like fresh faces and rosy cheeks. Too much makeup was seen as like very indecent, so this is probably like an indecent amount, but I went with like a little bit of dark in the eyeshadow, blush, and then kind of just like bitten lipstick. For earrings, I have these silver and black ones that Cage gave me. I have a load of rings on. And then I have this brooch that Cage also gave me ages and ages ago that I just tied around the ribbon that is holding my hat up. Underneath that, I have layered a lace cape that I DIY'd and this black just button down that I got from the thrift store. I like it because it has these awesome dramatic sleeves and the wonderful ruffle detail at the front. So I feel like for the Victorians that were a lot of times, at least in the daytime, about like the very high necks and like proper and like this and that, everything covered up, I felt like it kind of suited. And then the cape gave an extra little bit of detail and texture. And I feel like they were all about like lots of layers and lots of big hats and big jewelry and big hair and big bustles and like all this stuff. So I was trying to be very like over the top and dramatic. I also have this super fancy bracelet that my grandma gave me and these black vintage gloves because they were also all about the gloves, and then I feel like kid skin was like a lot more popular. Since this button-down shirt sticks out and is quite long, I paired this corset style belt over top just to kind of tuck everything in and make it seem hopefully like this is like a bustle layer. That was my idea. And then I also DIY'd this kind of chatelaine style accessory this afternoon. So it's got a little skeleton hand on it, this old key, this little like masquerade mask with like moons and stars, this pen nib thing, a sacred heart, an old earring, and this little crystal ball. So I felt like it was kind of like a spooky little Victorian inspired chatelaine type thing. And then I'm wearing a dress that obviously has like all my tops layered over it, but I wanted like the big full bustle skirt, and this is the dress that has the fullest skirt. I layered 2 petticoats underneath to give me a nice big volume, and I'm hoping that it worked. And then for leg and footwear, I've just got black stockings and these little black boots. If I had like little spats or like button-up boots, I think that would be excellent, but we're working with what we got. So yes, this is my late 1800s kind of Victorian inspired look. I feel quite happy with it. I know it's not like completely accurate, but I feel like we're moving at least in the correct direction, and I'm excited to show you the rest of the lookbook. So without further ado, okay, so essentially I just wanted an excuse to dress up like a ghost. I know this isn't really proper 1800s Victorian sort of situation, and we're just gonna pretend and do our best, and it's just for fun and whatever. Okay, so let me go ahead and walk you through this look. So I've gone with my black wig and I've pinned the back up and added some flowers. Then for makeup, I've just done like really dark haunted eyes, some black lipstick, and of course the black wig. Then for jewelry, I have this one choker that I DIY'd. It's got these little blood beads on it and a cross, as well as this necklace that I DIY'd. It's very like vintage rosary style kind of necklace. Then this dress I found at the thrift store. It's absolutely stunning. I feel so freaking pretty in it. I'm really tempted to dye it like orange or something, but honestly it's like so beautiful as a white dress, and I don't really have any white dresses, so we're just keeping it as this and saying that it's like a ghost kind of moment, because I feel like the all-white ghost goth kind of fashion is very much something that I don't experiment with, but I enjoy. For shoes, I've gone with just like little black boots because I feel like they were quite modest with the footwear. It was little riding boots and that kind of things for the Victorians, so that's why I went with those. But yeah, this is my ghostly Victorian outfit. Not really Victorian, mostly just ghostly. But yes, can't you imagine this perhaps roaming the moors and terrorizing the people? Anyway, so that's this look, and now on to the next. So this is my look that's supposed to be kind of Edwardian, sort of 1900s to 1910s sort of situation time. Now, this isn't usually one of my favorite areas of fashion, so bear with me. I really tried the best that I could. I know that normally they had bigger, like big giant tea hats that are super fun, and I think it would be a really cool project to make like kind of a goth tea hat, but I just didn't have time for this project, so instead I ended up wearing this little thing that I made for a different look, but it's just like this little fascinator feather headpiece, and then I styled my hair like in an updo with some really loose curls, and then for makeup I went like very neutrally browny orange eyes and like pink lip because they were very like just neutral, pale complexion, like maybe a little bit of blush. I have these poison bottle earrings, which I think just add like a little bit of a fun touch, as well as this little cameo necklace that has a little fairy on it, and some rings over my gloves. For the outfit itself, I have this lace curtain that I turned into this little neck piece a couple years ago. I feel like Edwardians were all about like the super high necks back then, so I figured it would be a good piece to incorporate here. And then this is just a plain black velvet dress. I added a little bit of an underbust corset because they were all about like the S-bend waist cinching corsets back then, as well as like the little gloves because like, ooh, very proper, whatever. They definitely would not have had a slit in the skirt, so please ignore that. But I do feel like otherwise this silhouette's pretty good. I feel like it was all about modesty and stuff back then, so we did our best. And then for boots, I've got these little kind of like pirate kind of lace-up boots. They kind of feel like they're Doc Martens, and I got them years and years ago, but I feel like they work for this outfit. So this is my look for like an Edwardian kind of Halloween moment, a little bit gothic, a little bit fun. Nothing super wild and Halloweeny about it, but I think it fulfills the prompt. So one of my favorite decades is the 1920s, so this is my look for that. I feel like every time I do a 1920s look I end up using this dress, but I feel like this outfit looks different than the other ones I've done before. And I'm a little bit worried that this hat looks more like a mouse than a bat, but bear with me. I made it the other day and I'm really, really happy with it. It's like pointy at the front and got the little like felt bat ears and the big bow at the bottom, and I just feel so freaking cute in it. So yes, let's start from head to toe. For my makeup, I have done the kind of like downward slanted eyeliner with like sparkly black and purpley eyeshadow, purpley blackish lipstick. For jewelry, I've layered a couple of necklaces, especially this like big sparkly spiderweb one, and these really long beaded ones because I feel like the 20s were all about those like really long drapey silhouettes that were, yeah, super elongated and boyish, and like long necklaces were a big part of that. I also have this little shawl because it kind of reminds me of some of the illustrations that I see of like little bat ladies of the 20s, like with their little like bat wings. So that's what we were trying to channel there. And I have a little trick-or-treat basket as an accessory, as if we're off to go to a Halloween party or something. Then this dress, as mentioned, is just like kind of a Halloween dress, but it's got like the little flapper sparkles and fringe, and like I said, I always wear it for my 1920s looks, but it feels so cute every time I'm in it. This is such a fun decade and I just love everything about flapper fashion. I've got some black fishnets, and for footwear I have these little purple velvet shoes that I found at the thrift store. They feel very dancey and like something that you might wear to a jazz club or something back in the day. So yes, I feel really, really cute in my little vintage bat outfit. I feel ready for a little 20s Halloween party. I hope this look is translating and isn't just giving like weird Playboy bunny or just like odd mouse, but whatever. If it is, that's life. I really like this look, and on to the next. Alright, so this is my look for the 1930s, sort of inspired by like Hollywood glam and kind of very extravagant nights on the town and all the beautiful singers and all these kinds of things, so that's what we're going for here. So let me walk you through the look from head to toe. I have clipped this spiderweb chain belt that I made that normally I put to clip on my pants, but I sometimes like to wear it as a hair accessory, and I've paired it with this other thing that I DIY'd just a couple days ago. That's just a little headband with the pearls and the feathers and the bow and all the fun things, you know. Feels very glam and vintage and fancy and stuff. Plus with all the like curls coming out, it just feels like a big extravagant headpiece, or at least that's what I was going for. For makeup, I've gone with black sparkly eyes, very dramatic and cat eye, and then the deep red lips. I also have these dangly little star earrings and this faux pearl necklace that I DIY'd with some red paint and these little beads, so it looks like we've been bitten at the vampire club perhaps. For the outfit itself, I have this little black lace capelet that I DIY'd. I feel like the outfit also works without it, but for a bit of a more modest look, I feel like the capelet does something a little elegant and fun. And I also paired it with these arm warmers that I DIY'd. These were for night sky kind of moon costume that I made in university, but I feel like they work on out for a little 1930s glam moment. And then this dress was a thrift store find. I absolutely love it. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but in person it has this like slightly red tint to it when it like catches the light. It's mostly black, but just like with that little bit of red shift. So pretty. Otherwise for legwear, it's pretty simple. We just have plain fishnets and some simple heels. These I found at the thrift store. And yes, I feel like this is pretty much all a DIY and thrifted outfit, but it feels so glam, so vintage. I'm really happy with it. I feel really, really pretty, and on to the next. I freaking love this look. It is super not what I wear every day at all. I think it's so fun. Like, hello? So yes, this is my look for the 1940s. I know that there was a lot more like kind of structured military, more like masculine styles in those days, but there was also like a little bit of cutesy little French vibes. I don't know, I feel like this just looks like a French outfit, but like what are you gonna do? I watched Julie and Julia recently, which is one of my favorite autumnal movies, because I feel like Autumn is just the perfect time to watch baking movies, and that is such a good one. It's got Meryl Streep, it's got Amy Adams. Sorry, hold on, beret time. It's just a fun, sweet time, but I very much feel like Meryl Streep's Julia Child in this. Okay, so first I have this little beret that I DIY'd today. I think it's super cute. I made a pumpkin beret yesterday and then this spiderweb one today because I was just feeling inspired, and I think it's super, super fun and very much gives like 1940s like little adorable beret. I feel like you could also do like a detective noir situation with like a big trench coat in the beret, but I decided to go for this. Then I've got these big sunglasses and the red lipstick. For makeup, I've done the cat eye, a little bit of brownie orange eyeshadow. I have this faux pearl necklace, this little brooch that my grandma gave me. This is a cardigan that I embroidered myself probably last year. And I've got these little vintage gloves that my mom gave me. I think they're super, super fun. And I love to incorporate them in my vintage lookbooks. Then I know they were all about like that cinched in waist and like that very like boxy structured silhouette at the time. So I went with this big chunky back belt to cinch in the waist. And then I'm wearing this black kind of satiny skirt that is true vintage. It's not from the 40s, but my cousin gave it to me and I think it's gorgeous and stunning and I love it. And yeah, it's perfect for lookbooks. And I've got little stockings and little black heels just to keep it like modest and simple. So yes, this is my 1940s kind of like little spiderweb look. I think it's so, so fun. I've been watching some videos lately about the 1940s, and specifically this one channel that'll link below, about this lady who likes to do I lived life like the 1940s for a day or like whatever, and specifically her Halloween episode and her pinup witch episode. So cute. I highly, highly recommend them. Without further ado, this is the 1940s look and onto the 1950s. So this is what I got for the 1950s. I was really, really excited to wear this little hat that I made the other day. It's just like a piece of cardboard with some black satin on it and a little spiderweb veil. But I think pillbox hats are so freaking cute. I just wanted to make one so I could like have it to just like pop out in little videos, even though Cage was like, you look like you're in mourning, but don't listen to him, it's fine. Alright, so I got my hair just off to the side. For makeup, I've got the dark brown eyeshadow with like a dark red lipstick, and for earrings I have these little spiderweb ones. I also have little spiderweb gloves on and a bunch of spooky rings, including a coffin and a snake. I have these little tiny glasses because I think they're kind of 50s. I don't know. This dress belonged to my mom. I think it was hers like in the 80s, so it's not like a proper 50s dress, and I did pin it up to make it shorter, but I still feel like it has that very like dramatic kind of silhouette that was popular back then, and I've paired it with this little Creepsville back belt. For legwear, I just have black stockings and these little black heels, so it's quite simple, but yeah, so much fun. This is one of two 50s looks that I have, but I think it's so freaking fun. So on to the next. So this is my other 1950s look, and we've gone very like elegant kind of ball gown, Dior new look sort of silhouette attempt with this one, so that's what we're going with here. Starting at the top, I've done my hair in an updo and curled my bangs, and then added like a couple of like fancy little curls to just like sprinkle down and like give like a little bit of that like elegant, sophisticated look. For eyeshadow, I've gone with like some black sparkly and the cat eye and some black lipstick. For earrings, I have these little dangly spider webs, and I don't have any necklaces on, but I do have this orange kind of piece of fabric that used to be a scarf that I just like cut a strip out of, and now it's a sort of more delicate, smaller scarf that I'm wearing across the top. I don't know, I feel like they were all about those like fancy shawls or like little evening gowns and little things, so that's what we're kind of trying to channel here. I have my spiderweb gloves. I think I got these at the dollar store, but they have these lovely spiderweb patterns, so I figured it was very appropriate. And then this is one of my favorite dresses. It's from the thrift store. It's got a velvet bodice and this satin skirt, and I just think it's so, so beautiful. I paired it with some fishnets and black heels. So yes, that is my look for sort of 50s, more elegant look, just a sort of different vibe. I like it quite a bit, but I think the other one is more my style. Okay, on to the next. Okay, so I have recently gained quite an interest in mod fashion and like 1960s kind of fashion, which is interesting because in the past mod styles didn't really appeal to me. It was a lot of like bright geometric patterns, but looking at the makeups and looking at like certain photos, I'm just like really inspired. So this is my look that I wanted to do for like kind of a 1960s mod look. It's a little tricky because not a lot of clothes in my closet I feel like were in the style, but I tried my best. So for a lot of the photos that I was looking at, people had quite slicked back, short little cute hairstyles or like very neat and like perfect little bobs. So I decided to wear this little devil hat that I sewed recently. I originally made it for Cage for his Halloween costume, but I really wanted to incorporate it in this lookbook, and I thought that like it kind of like smoothing down the hair gave a sort of like 1960s vibe. Same with like the big bow at the bottom, feels like very adorable. For makeup, I did like the very like Twiggy inspired thing where it's like super rounded, got the big lashes at the bottom, pink lipstick, and these like massive heart-shaped earrings, because when I was looking at jewelry, it was mostly like big and round and chunky and geometric and like plastic, and I don't have a lot of like giant plastic clankly hoops or anything, but I figured these were kind of in that same style. I also decided to incorporate a little basket because it just feels like it gives a little extra Halloween charm. This is a DIY that I did. It's like it was originally just like a plain brown basket, and I added all this fun stuff to it, and I feel like it works with a outfit. And then of course I feel like the classic thing of the 60s mods were like those adorable tiny little mini dresses. So I went ahead and pinned up this little velvet dress, so it's shorter than original. I don't have any fully one color pattern tights, but I do have these red fishnets, which I feel like kind of give a similar vibe, so we went with that. And then when I was looking at photos from this era, it was all about the big go-go boots and the big like kind of knee-high, thigh-high, that kind of thing. So for my footwear, I've just gone with these black demonias that I got on Facebook Marketplace. They're definitely not like the proper, like I feel like if they were white, it would be much more 60s, and also without the buckles, but hey, we're doing what we can with what we have. I totally forgot these earlier, but I feel like it also works very well with like some big heart-shaped sunglasses, since like I feel like 60s was also about like the little headscarf with like the big sunglasses, like in the glamour way, and it kind of reminds me of that with these. Okay, so one of my favorite fashion eras of all time is 1960s medieval revivalist fashion, which was basically this time where people were getting really into like medieval silhouettes again, with lots of tunics, lots of square necklines, and like long straight hair that like kind of curled in, and like crowns and stuff like that, but with really bold geometric patterns and like 60s colors and lots of like pattern tights and like all these really amazing things. I'll insert some pictures because it was just like an incredibly creative time in fashion history. The backdrops, everything is just like so inspiring. So I wanted to do a little homage to 1960s medieval revivalist fashion. This is what we have for that. I didn't see a ton of capes in the pictures that I was looking at, but I figured they'd fit in, you know? Alright, so I have my hair just down in this kind of like loose curly mess thing, and I've added this necklace as a headband. It has all these crystals and jewels, and I feel like it's very beautiful and renaissance-y and all those kind of things. For earrings, I have these silver ones with a fairy in them. They're just these big hoops. And then for makeup, I did see a lot of like Twiggy lashes, like the really big dramatic under eyelashes. So I went with those and some like kind of graphic details on top, some black lipstick. For jewelry, I have a bunch of rings. I have a bunch of very fancy bracelets, and I wanted to like just layer on all the like crystals and gems and all the beautiful things that I could think of. So I have layered on a load of necklaces and rings and jewelry and all my pretty gemstone things, so I'm feeling very, very royal and stuff. Now, this dress was originally a white nightgown. I dyed it black and cut it short. It's like the most tunic-y kind of style dress that I had, so I figured it worked. And then I figured with the medieval, you know, influences, I'd go with a little corset and, of course, the aforementioned cape. This cape I found at the thrift store ages and ages ago. It's beautiful, it's black velvet, and it's just, yeah, everything I could ask for. Now, a lot of the photos I looked at, they had really bright patterned tights. I don't have solid color orange tights, but that would be ideally what I'd be wearing. I've gone with these orange and black ones instead, but let's just pretend they're orange and we're in the better realm. And then for boots, I just have these that I got forever ago. They kind of remind me of like little peasant boots or something like that, so they work. That is one of my looks for 1960s medieval revivalist fashion. This is one of my eras, so much so that I wanted to do a second look for this, so on to that. Alright, so this is my other 1960s medieval revivalist look, and I feel like it's a lot of fun. I got to incorporate this sword that my dad made me when I was a kid, and it's just like wonderful and wooden and brings back so many happy memories, so very, very exciting. Let me walk you through the look from head to toe. I'm wearing this hooded dress that I got from Spirit Halloween a couple years ago. It's black velvet and it's got all these little stars as well as these like mesh patterns, and like I pinned up the hood to my wig so it'd be able to stay up, and I also added this little dragon necklace as a tiara. For makeup, I've done sort of Twiggy inspired eyelashes on the bottom with like very rounded 1960s kind of mod inspired situation. Light pink lipstick, but like very dark dramatic eyes. For jewelry, I've gone again with loads and loads of just different crystals and gems and things that I've collected over the years. Rings on my fingers as well. And for earrings, I have these big old pentagram situations that I got from Spirit Halloween a couple years ago. I also have this little star belt that I'm wearing. It's just a chain with these little stars on it, and I feel like it lends both to the mystical feel as well as like the medieval feel a little bit. Now ideally on my bottoms I would have like super bright pattern tights, but since I don't have any I just went with plain black, and then these big black boots with leg warmers over top. That way they kind of look more like a classic 1960s plain boot rather than like the big buckle 2000s boots. So yes, this is my second look for medieval revivalism. I freaking love this era so much, as I mentioned, and I just can't wait to wear more of this kind of thing in my everyday life and experiment with it so much more because it just is so pretty. It makes me so happy. So yes, without further ado, on to the next look. Okay, this is one of my looks for the 70s, and it's supposed to be kind of like disco inspired. I don't know if you can tell. Normally, this is not one of my favorite fashion eras, but I would be lying if I told you I didn't actually like think this outfit was like a lot of fun. I do have a very big soft spot for like the really corny aerobics fashion of those like high-cut bodysuits with like the leg warmers and stuff, and like a little bit of this is giving me that, so like maybe that's why I'm enjoying it more than I thought I would. But yeah, let's go through the outfit. Got my black wig on, and then I feel like the 70s was all about like lots of hair accessories, lots of jewelry, lots of like, you know, things. So I have a choker that I tied around my wig as like a sort of headband thing, because I feel like they did a lot of like bandanas and stuff like that, but the bandana made me look like a pirate and that's not what we were going for. I also tied a bunch of these like ribbon hair fall things that I made into my hair just to give like a little bit of extra fun detail and texture and stuff. I feel like if I had orange hair feathers that would like really be the way to go, but you know. Then I have orange eyeshadow and black lipstick, loads of chains and jewelry and necklaces and like all sorts of stuff, plus like lots and lots of bracelets, because like I said, all about those layers and those jewelry pieces and that kind of thing in this era. I ideally wanted to kind of like tuck this in and make it into a tube top, but it just wasn't working. So I'm wearing this orange tank top that I DIY'd the jack-o'-lantern face on as a tank top, but picture it as a tube top and then we're like really in the moment. And then let me talk you through the legwear and stuff. So I'm wearing these black velvet pants over some black and orange tights, so we get like a little bit of that peekaboo stripey situation. These pants have like the buckles in them, and I got them at the thrift store. And then this is a belt chain thing that I DIY'd last year. I think it's fantastic, and it just adds like a little bit of extra fun dancey detail, because I feel like, yeah, the more accessories, chains, things, the better time we're having at the disco. The Halloween disco, you know? These are some leg warmers that I knitted, and then I'm wearing my black creepers because I just wanted something with like a little bit of a platform to give me a little bit of extra height, because they were all about those like platforms and really amazing shoes in the 70s, which is one of the things that I do really enjoy about disco fashion and that kind of thing, was the shoes were impeccable. Okay, so that is one of my looks for the 1970s. On to the next. Okay, not sure how I feel about this one, but this is my other kind of 70s look. And this one's a lot more like boho, kind of flower child, hippie sort of situation. But I think it's fun. I think it's like out of my comfort zone, but I feel like it fulfills the prompt. So let me go ahead and walk you through it. Just got my hair regular and I added this scarf as like a bandana and a little leaf clip. For makeup, I've done orange eyeshadow with like a big star on my cheek and black lipstick. I have teeny tiny little sunglasses because I always feel very 70s to me. For jewelry, I've got a bunch of rings on, some bracelets, including this one with stars, a bunch of necklaces, and then this star belt that's just like a chain with a bunch of little star charms on it. When I was looking at 70s fashion, they had a lot of fringy vests and stuff. I don't have fringy vests, but I feel like a Halloween vest is perfect for that kind of same sort of vesty vibe, so we went with that. And then this dress is just like so flowy and hippie and, you know, 70s that I just had to include it in this lookbook. Then let me talk you through the legwear and stuff. I have these leg warmers that I DIY'd out of an old skirt and then dyed black. They're just super flowy and dancey, and I feel like that's what this area was all about, was just like super light flowy layers and all that dancey kind of movement. So I went with those, and then just some black boots underneath to give me some extra height. So yes, this is my other 70s look. Not my favorite fashion era, but I feel like these lookbooks are always fun to just like experiment and see what else is out there in terms of fashion. So yes, on to the next. Alright, so this is my look for a kind of classic 80s punk sort of Halloween moment, and I really like it. I think it's a lot of fun. I've put my hair off to the side and then clipped in all of these kind of like ribbony hair extensions, which I know are much more 90s and are much more like Strawberry Switchblade and like goth than punk, but I feel like they still work, and like a lot of like the DIY kind of repurposing thing is like what I associate punk with, so I figured it made sense. For makeup, I've gone with this sort of trad moment with like the orange, yellows, black lipstick. I know, again, this is more goth than punk, but there can be some overlap within the two subcultures, in my opinion, and that's where they really shine, if you ask me. So, yes, for my earrings, I have one little jack-o'-lantern kind of trick-or-treat Sam thing, and then one that is one of those glow-in-the-dark pair of vampire fangs that I just stuck on an earring hook. I also have this DIY choker that I painted to look like candy corns, and just some different beaded necklaces, as well as some spiky and just like random colorful bracelets. For the outfit itself, I have layered a black fishnet shirt that's just made out of a pair of ripped pantyhose under a black bikini top, and then this orange jack-o'-lantern tank top that I DIY'd. I've also paired it with my favorite Halloween pants. These were a DIY from last year, and I just think they're absolutely fantastic and like absolutely go with that like 80s punk vibe. So let me give you a closer look at those. So this is what the pants are looking like, and I really like to tuck them in to the bottom of these boots so they give that kind of like military sort of silhouette. I think it's a lot of fun. And then I have also paired on the DIY belt chain. So yes, this is my look for like classic 80s punk with a little bit of trad goth influence. I feel super myself, super cute. I like this a lot. And yeah, on to the next. So this is my look for like a 90s goth sort of situation. Just kind of like a club outfit with trad goth makeup, but with some Halloween-y details. It's pretty simple, but I think it's quite cute, so let me go ahead and walk you through it. Just put on my long black wig for the super dramatic straight hair. For makeup, I've done the kind of trad shape on the eyes, but with like oranges and yellows and reds, and some black lashes underneath. Pointy black lips. And for jewelry, I have these coffin earrings, this choker with all the O-rings, and this rosary style necklace that I DIY'd. It's got these orange glass beads and a little jack-o'-lantern at the bottom. I've also got some rings on. And for the outfit itself, I basically paired this black kind of satiny corset over top of this orange dress, but I just pulled the dress down far enough so that you couldn't see the top, and all you can really see is like the bottom sticking out. And I think it has this really nice kind of pinstripe effect, so let me show you that. I think it looks really pretty, but to give it an extra little bit of layer, because I feel like 90s goth and goth in general is all about like just beautiful, gorgeous, flowy layers. At least it can be in some different styles. So I've just tucked in some creepy cloth, the kind that you get at the dollar store around Halloween, into the bottom of my corset to give just like a little bit of extra something. But I feel like the outfit also works without it. Or you could wear this as like kind of like a shawl sort of situation. And I have my handmade arm warmers. These are just some spiderweb fabric with some black elastics on top. Oh, and for boots, of course, we had to go with something big and stompy. So I just have these black boots and some fishnets underneath. So yes, this is my trad goth 90s look, or at least one of my 90s looks. I feel like it works. Yeah, and I could definitely see myself wearing this kind of thing to a club, so yes. Alright, so this is my other 90s look that I'm sort of calling granny goth. It's sort of like that combination of cozy, cottagecore, patchwork, grandma moment, but with like the dark boots and the dark makeup and the velvet accents and the black cats, like, you know what I mean? So that's kind of what we're going for here. If you have better terms for it, I would love to hear them. So I've piled my hair on top of my head with all its curls in a little bone hair clip. I have these big corn earrings because I feel like quirky earrings are like essential to this type of style, and my big old glasses. For my other jewelry, I have this choker that I DIY'd out of an old belt and some charms that I got off an old bracelet. This is a necklace my mom gave me. This is a necklace I DIY'd out of clay that's like the little candy corn. This is one I DIY'd out of beads, and this is one I found at the thrift store. I feel like it's all about the layers and lots of piles of jewelry and everything kind of like mismatched and eclectic. I've layered this handmade vest that I DIY'd a few years ago with all the Halloween patches over top of this orangey cardigan and these little knitted arm warmers that I DIY'd maybe last year. And under everything I have this black velvet dress that has this very like square neckline that feels very 90s, I guess. For my bag, I have this one that is black and orange with kitties that glow in the dark, because I feel like grandmas always have like cool stuff like this, and that's what this style is all about. And then yes, as mentioned, for boots, nothing crazy, just my everyday demonias and some fishnets to add in a little extra alternative edge. I think this is my first time I've worn my glasses in this lookbook, so that's wild. But yeah, that's my other kind of 90s look. It's kind of grungy inspired, I guess that's kind of why I put it in the 90s, though this is kind of like what I dress like today. Okay, anyway, on to the next. Alright, so I have two gothic Lolita looks, and I do know the Lolita was like originated in the 80s and 90s in Japan. However, I already had looks for the 80s and 90s, and I feel like in terms of like North America, it got like more popular in the 2000s, so that's why I'm putting it here. Also just, I love this style so much and I wanted an excuse to include it, so here we are. So let's start from head to toe. I have this little headband I made the other day. It's just a bunch of orange lace, orange ribbon, black ribbon. I added these little pumpkin charms and velvet bows on the sides that I DIY'd. It's really hard to find orange lace, so this was actually white lace that I dyed myself, but I think it turned out really, really cute. It just ties under my chin and I think it's adorable. Then for makeup, I've just done like really dark eyes, dark lips. I know that Lolita makeup in general is usually pretty subtle, but I figured for the gothic style, it can get like a little bit more intense, so that's why we went with that. I've put my wig in pigtails, though I feel like it would look really cute if I curled it. I don't know if I can curl this wig. And I have these little jack-o'-lantern earrings that I DIY'd. This was a scarf that I cut a strip out of to make sort of like a little neck kerchief thing. I think it looks really, really cute, especially layered with this black long sleeve button down, and then my orange dress over top. This orange dress was originally white and I dyed it myself, and I've also paired a little corset belt over top and a petticoat underneath just to give it that classic shape that we are looking for with the Lolita aesthetic. I also have these little gloves on and a bunch of rings, plus this little purse that's got the spooky black cat on it, because I feel like Lolitas in general just have like the cutest little bags and purses and like so much adorable cartoony stuff. I should have added more charms now that I'm thinking of it, but it's okay, it's okay. For legwear, I'm wearing these black stockings that have these little bones going up the back. As mentioned, orange dress with the petticoat, and then I have these big black boots that have the heart buckles on them. I think they're really, really cute, and though I feel like it might be more appropriate to wear like Mary Jane's or like some little heels, I think I've seen some Lolitas wearing like big stompy boots, especially like gothic Lolitas and punk Lolitas, so I think it should make sense. Anyway, this is one of my looks for the early 2000s for gothic Lolita aesthetic, but in a Halloween style. I really like it. I feel so, so adorable. And yeah, I don't know if I'm like confident enough to wear this kind of thing out yet, but it's really cute to get dress up in it and just feel like all adorable, because I love this style so much when I was a younger person, but never got to like dress up in it properly. So seeing myself in it now is just like oh, if younger me could see it, they would be really, really happy. So yeah, okay, on to the next look. So this is one of my looks for the early 2000s. It's supposed to be kind of like Lolita inspired fashion. This has always been a style that I have loved and have been like really scared to like experiment in myself, but like just trying to like dip my toe in a little bit is a lot of fun. So I apologize if things aren't like proper and perfect, but fun. Okay, so first I have this little beret that I made the other day out of felt. It's just a little pumpkin. I think it's so cute and it just makes me feel so adorable and vintage, and I just wore it with like my hair in some curls. I've got some really tiny jack-o'-lantern earrings, orange eye makeup that's like very rounded, and like little black lipstick. I have this jacket that is from Help Bunny, but I got it on Facebook Marketplace. I love it. It's so cute. It has so many adorable details, like the collar, the bows, all of the heart-shaped pockets. I also added these like little wrist cuffs underneath to give some extra layers, and a little candy corn rosary style necklace that I DIY'd to just like bring in all of the extra Halloween vibes. Since I'm wearing a petticoat under the jacket, I also paired it with this bat belt to add a little detail and also like extra cinch the waist in so we get like the proper belle dress shape. I don't know if it's like proper, but we're trying our best. It's just, I know it should be a little more poofy, but you know. For leg and footwear, I've just gone with these stripy orange and black tights and these thrifted heels that are from the brand Le Chateau. I found them at the thrift store a couple years ago. I think this look is so freaking cute. Super adorable. I feel very sweet. This has always been a style that I admire so much, so this is like one of my little Halloween versions of it. Alright, so that is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching till the end. I hope that was fun, and I hope you're having a wonderful spooky season wherever you are. I'm here with Tuna right now, and we're both sending you the biggest Halloween spooky hugs and all the love. Hope you're taking care of yourself and staying safe. Yes, have a wonderful rest of the day or night or whenever you happen to be watching, and I hope to catch you in the next one. Bye for now.